bring your kid back, your daughter like that, you gonna be ready to fight nowadays, man. That's what changed everything. So now kids, after they leave their house, after they get done with that parenting, they just parent themselves. Mm-hmm. Nobody's telling them besides the teacher, you know. Nobody's calling their parents, hey, your daughter's being bad at school, or your daughter was with my son. Like, no, they feeling comfortable. Bring your daughter over my house and they in the room just playing. So it takes.
Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? Then Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
Whenever you gentlemen are.
All right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, just like that, we're back at another very special episode of Line for Line building. I have a legend in the building, you know, one of the greatest mentors, teachers that I've ever had the chance to meet. Get another solid young dude in the building as well, too. Both these gentlemen have amazing stories. If you mix 3 amazing stories together, you're going to get amazing content. I'll let these gentlemen introduce themselves to the world.
Tony Moore, owner of Moore & Associates, executive director of Burger Feather, also group home owner, and Kenosha Ballers basketball coach and owner.
I'm Ken, the barber. I'm just trying to further my career in this barber world, so it's kind of an introduction. That's where I'm at, still grinding, still getting to it.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, it's safe to say that a lot of people know both of you guys out here in the community as well, too. I mean, both of you guys never been shy about saying your run-ins with the law. Mm-hmm. Spent a little bit of time in prison. Can you just help us understand what was the hardest part about the journey of integrating yourself back into society?
I think the hardest part for me was like getting to know your family again. That's a tough part because you've been gone for so long. It's like, what is your role within the family? Mm-hmm. See, I was always alpha, but when I was gone, it's like I got to get back to what I was. So it's like it was hard. That was hard. That was the hard part, being a big brother to my little brothers and actually showing them what it is or what it is to be a man that they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So I guess that was the hardest part through this journey. It's been almost 2 years that I've been home, and that's the part that gave me the hardest trouble, but that's it.
Yes, sir. What about you, sir?
Mine would have been similar to his, which was very difficult for me because I had to walk away from my family.
Oh no!
My family is deep, men-wise, and was 24 men that I had to come back to, and we were never ever a gang, but we were a gang. Mm-hmm. And influence of behavior always was dictated by who was the oldest brother, in jail, out of jail, whatever. And I had to walk away from my family to walk back to them. And when I walked away from them for 5 years and built my new career as counselor, productive member of society, then I was able to walk back to them with some standard of self-respect that they could respect themselves. And then now, like Ken said, now I'm considered one of the alpha males in the family and one to look to because I changed my life with the businesses and the work and having things. So now everybody wants a piece of that, and how did you do it? Mm-hmm. So.
Now, was there ever any struggle for either one of you guys with just people's perception of you and understanding that, yes, you made a mistake, but you're not that same person that you once were?
I think that the uncertainty that we face, like on a daily, we're having a hard time trying to move and to get in places like home. If you don't own a home, you're trying to rent a nice place and you make good money for it. Like, why shouldn't I be able to rent this place? But without them even looking or even giving you a conversation, they just search up your background and tell you, no, we don't accept felons on these grounds. So I face that a lot, but I'm not the kind of person, I'm not weak-minded. I'm not going to, they won't accept me. No, I'm going to go keep looking. I'm going to go try to get the next place. Like, It's not for me to just give up. I got kids depending on me. And I just don't want to live anywhere until you get your credit up, until you be able to buy your own place. Like, this is what you got to do. This is the path. Like, everything is not going to be straight. We can have these conversations and talks with so many people, but everyone has their own idea. They want to run their business. They don't want you to stay in their house, or they want to run it how they do it. So you just gotta stay focused and just stay humbled and knowing that you're gonna get it. I'm gonna get it.
Anything for you to add to that, sir?
Yeah. That too will take care of itself as you stay out and stay doing the right grind. The right follows right, and because of our past has some consequences and some baggage that comes with it. So it takes almost 5 years before that starts letting up. He says he's been out 2, so he's pretty where he should be in the perspective of people's eyes. When people look at you, they don't believe that he can change. Not this dude. He gaming us. Yeah. I know where he come from. He ain't changing that fast. But he has. He made a commitment when he was down that I was done, and nobody else believed him but him. And so now that he's partaking and he got the right mindset that he's not gonna let anybody hold him back or influence him to be a weak-minded person and say, since y'all don't believe that I'm changed, I'm gonna go back to prison. No, I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight and keep moving on.
But as a community, though, how is it that we grow out of that so quick to judge someone based off of a mistake, even though we don't even know the full circumstances or the whole story? All we can see is, oh no, they were charged with this, now I have to believe that they're just this negative person. How is it that we grow out of that?
Somebody won't never grow out of that because of their own lifestyle. So I need to look down on you and remember that who I am. Some people value your life. Or he can't change because I couldn't.
True.
We can change, and many times people are unfair. They want change for themselves, but don't want it for nobody else because it proves that it's possible. We're the hope. We're the hope that it's possible. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you've been through and what happened in your life. If you want it, go get it.
Even though there are people out there who are going to judge us and we possibly can't change their perception of us?
Yeah, because they're your fuel to your fire. I'm going to show you. Hold your breath, as a matter of fact, while I do it.
How is it that you deal with people's awful perception of you, though?
I keep. They say massive success gives you massive revenge on people. So I just continue to be successful. Go down to the museum, see me in the museum as an activist, see me as a business owner, see me riding a nice car, see me at the nicest places, see me getting introductions from people on Facebook. Man, if he ain't there, I ain't there, that type of thing. Just keep having massive success because that's all I want anyway. Because the only thing that I never will ever do again, I will never, ever go back to jail.
But Tony Moore, I've seen your criminal history. How is it that I trust you when I know that you've been?
You don't have to
before?
trust me. It's not for you to trust me. I trust me.
Yes. Yeah.
So you don't have to never trust me. You can stay in your white lily fence or white picket fence, however you want to do it. You go to your nice job, cushy job. You don't never have to trust me. Our paths don't never have to cross. Trust me, they don't never have to cross. But I'm still going to stay successful.
Well, I'm still outraged that you have a place down in the museum and I know that you broke the law before.
I'm sorry that you feel that way.
For real.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you feel that way, bro. I wish you the best of luck. And if you ever want to sit down for breakfast or dinner, or come to a ball game, or come to one of my events, I'll be glad to have you there.
Well, I'll let you know, sir. I will never come to any of your ball games, nor will my kids. We're not going to support you this way.
Thank you. I'm going to support you.
I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to support you. Whether you support me or not, I see what you do in the community, and I'm going to support you, sir.
So in other words, it sounds like what you're saying is how I feel about you doesn't impact your day-to-day.
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all.
But I'm going to go home and make 5 to 10 Facebook posts about you.
I still going to love you, bro. I'm still going to love you.
Yes, sir.
And I'm still going to wish the best for you.
Oh my God, I appreciate that. But my question really is, though, what is it that we have to do to possibly prevent our younger generation from possibly going down the wrong road of just death and destruction as well, too? What would be some things that you guys maybe saw that in yourself that you said, if I had someone telling me not to do this, maybe I would have listened, or whatever the case may be?
I think for Kenosha, that it's nothing to do. Like when I was growing up, looking up to the older guys, we used to have so much to do. We can go to the CYC. They got everything for us to do. The CYC, the Boys and Girls Club, so many connected that we had a lot of stuff to do. Like we get out of school, we know Mr. Dennis taking us to a trip, taking us to the Bucks game. What's going on here? It's nothing going on. So it's a lot of people in our community that's actually doing things, like for the Juneteenth, which is getting bigger this year. So it's like he's hosting the basketball. Everyone's doing something, but it takes all of us to do something. Even me. I'm sitting right here saying that we can do this. No, just do it. That impacts it. All the small things really impact it, So it's just about getting back to that, I think. And for the youth that I usually talk to, it's like they think the same thing. It's nothing to do. So they using their gun. They trying to go get money. Like, no. Go work these jobs. They used to have a summer fair where at the Boys and Girls Club you can go get so many jobs, have all these jobs come out, get these kids in jobs, get them working, get them paid a little bit. Other than that, if they get wasting their time, then what's leisure time turn into play? Yeah. They are smoking their brains away, Yeah.
So. What he's saying is the other side that's missing. Fathers, dads, uncles. See, we dropped the ball in my generation, on this generation, where we didn't hold up to a standard because of what we went through with the drugs, the alcohol, and we dropped the ball and let the game free to be educating our kids. Now our kids are in trouble with the lifestyles that we have shown them that we enjoyed, from TVs all the way to real life hip hop. And now our kids are suffering, and now we want our kids to be able to be educated enough to stop. Well, they can't until dads get in there and stop it.
But do you feel like it's part of the agenda to take black dads out of the home?
You can't. Nobody can have the agenda over black men. Black men have their own agenda. If you fall for it and you smart enough to know that there's an agenda and you still get ate up, then you wasn't smart then.
Yeah.
See, we know the agenda, and we yet use the agenda as an excuse to be inadequate. That's not acceptable. To say that we're smart enough to know that these folks got an agenda against black men, and it's been perpetrated for 400 years, and we still getting ate up by the same agenda, then something else is wrong. Then that got to come back to us to say, hey, hold up a minute. I got to go talk to this brother got to talk to him. We can't separate it and do it. We got to go get back together in the midst of all the anger that we have about each other that we've been fed. We got to use love and come back together and say, you know what? Our generation of kids are suffering because we can't unite. Even our women are suffering because we can't unite.
So now my takeaway from what you said missing the fathers, right? So help me understand, let's say I'm 11, 12, but I don't have dad in the house, but I do have TV. Every time I turn on the TV, I see this rapper doing this or this rapper doing that. Now you got to go sell some weed, or now you got to go sell some drugs if you want that nice car, or you want the fly women's or anything like that. How is it that we train our youth to avoid the distraction of the mainstream media and what they project our life to look like?
I think I don't let my son get. He been watching the media for so long. Now he be in school. He's so ahead of his time, which is a good thing. But when he in school, I don't need you to know about certain things in school. I need you to just focus on learning. So now I just cut back from having my son watch all of me, YouTube. I don't want him to see none of that stuff because that's how we grew up. You need to just learn these books, learn slow, that way I can pour into you. That's a major thing, and it's helping my son in school right now. He's starting to understand that. No, you spend an hour on the phone. That's what you get. Don't sit here on TikTok all day just strolling. No.
Yeah. He just told you the story. See, he said the sacrifice. He said that's all he talked about. I have to sacrifice to make sure that this boy only get this, and this. And he's going to listen to me because he loves me and I love him, and I perpetrate that love to him. So he's going to partake in whatever I tell him. If I tell him, no, there's no 15 hours of computer. We and you going outside. We finna throw the ball. We finna do this, or we finna do that. Or no, you can't hang with them today. You could come with me. Me and you going to fix on cars, or cut trees, or cut lawns, or fix cars. I'm gonna teach you the fundamentals of life so that you'll know. I was telling somebody the other day that I said, my dad, I really appreciate him. He was a tough dude, but he taught me a little bit about everything: how to fix roofs, how to break down a car and put it back together, how to sand a floor. Put in a toilet stool, a bathtub. he did everything. Concrete. Showed me a little bit about everything. Then Mom did her part. She showed me how to cook, clean, all the things that I would need as a man to help a family. My family taught me. There's little boys now that don't even know anything about nothing.
Yeah. It's true.
To do.
I bet you they know about the new Yeezys though.
Yeah.
I bet you they know about the new Jordan. No, I'm just being serious. And it's like me and my role, me being the host of my show, like I just took that duty upon myself to be that conduit that's gonna break the cycle and be able to teach the next generations. Even though there's people who are like still lacking, you know what I'm saying? Because you can still be 26 and still be childish mentally. You know, there's so many stuff that these people who are like 24, 25, they come from broken homes. They don't have that dad, you know? And I find myself like that all the time as well, too, because I was adopted, didn't really have that, the best father figure in my life as well, too. And I find myself like, man, maybe if I would have had that father figure, I could have been ahead of my time and further ahead of where I'm at right now, you know? But how is it that we get past that, though, when we have these men who are 25, 26, and that still hurts them that they didn't have that family life, you know? How is it that we get past that?
The family life matters, but as I was saying when I was trying to teach my son, every day I pour into him, even if your father's not here, it's someone else from you to learn from. Like, don't use it as an excuse for when you get 25, 30, oh, I didn't have a father. No, because ultimately you got your own mind. You can think on your own. Your mom gave you the best you can. All you have to do is look, read, pay attention to what some other people go through. You know you're making a bad decision if you make the same decision I made. Oh, my daddy wasn't there to tell me. Like, no, there's no excuse. And some people be like, they be looking at me at a certain kind of way because I hold my son to this certain guy. I don't care if he's 6. I want you to think like you're 15. Like, you know not to make this mistake. Yeah. Like, some people more easy on their child, but for me, the situation I've been through, like, son, you gotta know this is what happened when you get in trouble. Like, there are consequences. Like, change that mindset. I don't even want to, like, my dad was never there. I didn't see my dad since I was 5 years old. I got a chance to see him. My dad's still in prison. And I know where he's at. But I go see him? Like, no. That part of my life is pretty much over with. Don't use it as an excuse. I don't care if you see a child that's going through, he's in a group home or he's in this thing. It's for us to tell him that, and he got to take that knowledge, receive that knowledge, and go on with your life, because you can't sit back when you get 18 like, my father did this to me, like my mom left me. Like, no, it's for you to your mental power is everything that you got. And I want my child to have it like when he's young. Right now he's 6, and I want him to be thinking like he's 15 on credit, on things he's supposed to think on. But that's what we got to beat into him. So many people be stuck on that mindset, or he just a kid, just let him be. Like, no, this world is way further than that.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
That's one of the things that I really, really pay attention to.
It is. And you know, when you're saying that, and you've been around me for a while in this journey back from 25 years of being free now after 18 years of prison, the only responsibility that I have, and accountability I have, is to be the best version of myself. And I won't let me not push myself to the ultimate potential of being all I can be to take care of me, so that my family can see that there is no excuses when they come to me. Daddy was this hard. No, it don't matter how hard it was. Going back to school or whatever it is, going back to get your master's degree, going back. If you want a Bentley, go get a Bentley. If you want a Bentley dealership, go get one. There's a way to go get it. You have to be accountable to self. In order to change my family dynamics, I had to change me. So my family could see that Papa ain't giving no excuses. You ain't going to Papa with no excuse about the white folks too hard, or these black folks. Look, if you ain't analytical enough to see what your perception of what your life need to be, then you need to come to let Papa, let's sit down and let's get to the point where you can see with the mindset that you want to see to be successful. I don't want you ever to believe that jail is an option. It's not an option. Any in prison, any oppressed nature is not an option. Getting on dope. Every kid want to experience their bout with drinking, smoking weed. Well, let me tell you what they do to you. Now, the money that you're talking about getting from me as Pawpaw, and I know you finna go buy a beer or whatever, let me tell you about it. I ain't giving you no money to go buy no beer to oppress yourself to come beg again. So can you make some money off drinking beer and all those things? I use it that way because I was a drug addict. So I use it the reverse way and say, well, if you want something from me and then you gonna go spend it on something that ain't gonna give you no value back, then how you want me to trick off my money to you? They usually can't have no answer for it, so they don't even bother me. They don't even bother me with asking me. They know how to go get it on their own, and they go get it. My kids go get it. they come work with me with the basketball, or they pop off, let me have a job, and I'll gladly give them a job. I'm gonna try to get them into the group home so that they can learn that system, so that if I ever die or move off, they can run my business or open their own. Because it's very important that we teach. See, a lot of parents get to the point where they're too busy to teach. You can't get too busy to teach your own seed. Your seed, that's your seed. You got to teach. I may have to sacrifice this in order to teach them, because they're more connected to me than this.
True. That's true.
They're my babies. I got to make sure that they have the right footing in this world. It's my duty as a dad to have the right footing. If I have to sacrifice prison to teach them how to stay free, prison is gone. Because I got to teach them how to be free and how to go through life and be successful. And if I don't do that, then I'm a curse to my own seed. And that ain't happening. Not today, it ain't. There was a time,
Yes, sir. So what is it that we do, because we don't have those outlets that most kids have growing up, like a Boys and Girls Club type of environment that's really teaching these kids about avoiding the street, keeping them out of the street, teaching them skills, teaching them how to do labor and things like that. What do you think is the missing piece?
Sacrifice. It's sacrifice. It's sacrifice. It's either you see dads and moms now, they're chasing money or fame or fortune or provision for their kids, right? I got to go to work so I can feed you, so I can buy you clothes. Well, after a while, you're going to have to say, either I'm going to go to work and make sure that I give you provision to take care of yourself, or I'm going to stay at home to make sure this whatever we got, you learn how to use it properly. Like, you don't have to have a whole lot. Sometimes we go get way more than the kid ever get a chance to use, and the kid will get lost in our getting. And then you blame it on the kid. Well, I tried to give you everything you need. Well, I didn't need that. I just need your love, Dad. You didn't sacrifice your love for me. You sacrificed money for me and everything else, but I was sneaking, getting high when you gave me the money and going to work.
It's not funny, but it's just the way you said it. Like, for real. Nah.
I know 8 students who get A's to get high, and the dad think that my kid get A's. Your kid is selling dope at the school, getting A's, because they know that you're going to give them A's. Money for A's.
What?
Yeah.
And that's another thing too, though. Like, just the drug rate is higher than it has ever been as well too. You have all of these overdoses, all of these kids trying new drugs, and these drugs are just laced and just bad for them as well too. How is it that we shy away from that? Pretty sure you know a little bit about the opioid crisis as well too, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, how is it that we like bridge that gap as well too?
Same thing, sacrifice. Kids ain't getting high in front of their dads. They going to hide. So if I'm in my kid's face, my kids know I'm walking in the room. Oh no, you don't got no free room like that. No. I'm in your life enough for you to know that my dad coming. So I ain't finna mess around. He coming, y'all. As a matter of fact, too many of us together is gonna draw his attention.
And I think like collectively, it take like, you know, back in the day when I was growing up, if I'm running down the street, somebody calling my grandma. Somebody gonna call my grandma and say, hey, your grandson down here. You know, it was like that. Nowadays, people just like, oh, that ain't my kid. Them one of my kids. Yeah. Like, you know, you gotta pay attention to everybody's kids. Like, it affects all of us. Like, if I see somebody else's kid doing something wrong and I know them, I'm gonna give you a call. Like, hey, your son's out here on the corner doing something he's not supposed to do. We got so many parents that just ride past or just don't care because it's not their business. You know, like if you see someone kids doing that, you should let them know. That's how it was back in the day. It was structured. Yeah. It was things parents cared. Nowadays we don't. We young parents just like, don't touch my kid, don't say nothing to my kid, or we fight. You know, somebody bring your kid back, your daughter like that, you gonna be ready to fight nowadays, man. That's what changed everything. So now kids, after they leave their house, after they get done with that parenting, they just parent themselves. Mm-hmm. Nobody's telling them besides the teacher. You know, nobody's calling their parents, hey, your daughter's being bad at school, or your daughter was with my son. Like, no, they feel uncomfortable. Bring your daughter over my house and in the room just playing. So it takes all of us. Like if you see my kid doing, you know me. So if you see my kid doing something, give me a call. Don't let him trick you. Like, don't tell my dad. Like no, make sure you tell his dad so I can correct him. Like vice versa. That's how it's supposed to be. So, but
I also think a lot with these kids too. We have kids raising kids too, though. Because like, you'll see these kids like mom's already at work. There's already no dad in the house, like you said. You got the 13-year-old girl. Watch your brother and sister while I go off and do work, or while I do this as well too. Though, how is it that we rise up against the system when we have kids raising kids? Though,
but we always have had that. My mom was 14 when she had her first child. We always had that. We always had somebody in the house, grandma or somebody in the house that would help raise the kids. Men been having sex and babies forever. Early 12, 13, 14-year-old girls been having babies who had to be educated by another woman how to raise a kid. What it is they're not parenting. Nobody's getting parented now. Nobody's getting whooped and saying, boy, let me put you on punishment. You put a kid on punishment now, he might come home with a mass shooting. Talking about, I ain't going on no punishment.
True.
And then you're going to have to whoop him. What you mean you ain't going to punish me? Yeah, you going on punishment. No, I ain't going on punishment. You're going to have to whoop me. So, see, kids are so unruly now because our generation dropped the ball. Our men in our generation dropped the ball and left that piece dangling for at least two decades that I can remember. I would say from 1974 to 1994, we pretty much dropped the ball and just was chasing cocaine, drugs, and that lifestyle, and women were left to do whatever. So women don't even respect men nowadays because of that era. You know, and because we dropped the ball, and then our fault, my fault, and this is that because most men won't take accountability to say that we dropped the ball, now we acting like we in denial. So guess what? How it goes longer. It goes longer. Since nobody want to own up to what's wrong, then we'll never adjust or deal with what's wrong because we won't take accountability for our generation, the guys that's 60 years old right now, they're coming out of the crack era and coming out of the prison era and coming out of the hustling era and the pimping and all of that. We're not taking full responsibility for how we affected our culture. But everything else we talk about hip hop, we talk about everything else, but we don't talk about the culture overall as what happened with us as men with our careers. I'm willing to bet you from 74 to 94, you can go back and check the careers of black men. I guarantee you it was either drug selling, incarceration, or armed robbery and those type of things. Not many doctors in that generation, not many owners, business owners, entrepreneurs. I'm willing to bet you. And we got to take full responsibility for that if we're gonna change it. That's why when you said earlier, we have been open about who we are. That's why he's able to change so successfully, because he's able to take full responsibility for who he is as a black man and what happened. He took responsibility. He ain't blaming nobody. He ain't pointing fingers at nobody. He's pointing fingers at himself. That's why he's being so successful. In a 2-year jump, other cats in probably went back to prison 1 or 2 times, or cussed their PO out, or did something.
Cussed their PO out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I figured like you asked earlier, like what was one of the hardest things that we had to do when we got out. One of the other hardest things I had to do was I had to change around all my peers. So that was a big step, because some people, like, they go back into their old self because they want to be cool or they want to be somebody in front of their guys. Like, no, I go around my guys and tell them, no, I'm not doing that. And still have a smile on my face and still be who I am. I see so many guys that just follow each other. It's crazy that I can go around you and just be myself. Like, no, I want to cut hair. I got a bag of clippers. Why you got that? You know, or like, no, you're not robbing me. And I feel comfortable saying that. I'm me. I'm not trying to be you. We friends, but like, my family is the most important thing. I'm not about to do anything to jeopardize that. Like, if you don't understand that, then we not cool.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.